From rock bottom to global impact, today's guest is living proof that your past does not define your future. We sat down with Morgan Nelson, who's the founder of the Dream Out Loud Institute and host of one of the most successful podcasts in Australia, the Dream Out Loud podcast. Morgan's journey is next level. From battling depression and nearly taking his own life in his teens, he became financially free a few years later in his early 20s. He hosts one of the biggest personal development events called Dreamfest, and he has been an opening speaker for some of the biggest and most influential speakers in the world. But behind all of this is a story of mindset mastery, resilience, and taking messy, imperfect action in pursuit of something bigger. Now, this was a funny one because it did not go to plan, but that's what this journey is all about for me as well. Showing up, making a difference, and giving stuff a go. So I'm really looking forward to you listening to this episode. It was a lot of fun. Welcome to The Leap, a business journeys podcast where we dive deep into the journey of business owners to learn from their successes and failures. Our goal is a simple one: to help more businesses succeed. Well, to our listeners and viewers, this is an exciting episode. You're easily the most famous person we've had on the podcast thus far. You're borderline in celebrity status, right? So this is really cool, and people will note that we're in a different setting as well. So we're down in Queensland. You might be able to help with the geography. Burleigh Heads.
We are in Burleigh Heads.
Burleigh Heads, yeah. So This is really exciting. You've been pretty busy recently.
Yeah,
What's been happening?
This year's been crazy.
Yeah.
I actually just said to a friend yesterday, as we're recording this right now, it's the 8th week of the year, I think it is, something like that. And I said, I'm like, man, this year's just been crazy. I've spent 2.5 weeks this year in the country.
Wow.
And for the 2.5 weeks I've been here, I think it's just been, we're building an entire studio around the corner from here, an event space. So when this drops, I think it'll be completely out. So like when I have been here, we've just been doing a big project. And then obviously start of every single year, I've got new goals, we've got new ambitions. We hired 2 new employees. So we're doing a lot of things, right? So I've been literally across the entire world so far this year. I've started the year in Europe, came across here to Australia, and then just did a few weeks in America.
Who are you with in America? The few big things happening over there?
Yeah. So we did a pretty crazy tour in America, actually. So we went there for a bunch of podcast interviews. Like we had a few people on our show. Jeremy Miner and stuff like that. He interviewed me. I got interviewed on some awesome shows over there with some great people, and hung out with Dean Graziosi for half a day. So that was really special, to sort of like go on mastermind and sort of chat with him and talk about business and everything. And then he's coming on the podcast. Couple of days with Ty Lopez. Then a whole week in Vegas at ClickFunnels conference. So everybody and anyone in the entrepreneur world was there. So
when you say it out loud, when you like, the people that you've been with on stage and the people that, you were just with in the US, do you believe it now? Like, how does that, when you say it out loud, do you still sometimes pinch yourself?
Not really, because I think to sort of get to that spot, I had to remove anybody from a pedestal a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like I found whenever we pedestal anyone or anything, our goals, we're literally putting us on this shelf that we're admiring, and we're setting it there where it's like, that's so fantastic. And like, think about that, for example, when we set a goal, like let's say someone's starting in business and I want to make $1 million this year, and they're putting the goal on this big pedestal, like it's this unattainable type thing where it's just out of distance. And what it does is energetically it pushes it further away from us. If we believe something is this unattainable sort of out of perspective on a pedestal thing, it's harder to get to it. But if we can lower it off the pedestal and we can just see $1 million like it's $1, then it's going to seem very normal in our realm. So no, like I hate to sort of say that, now that I've talked on some stage with some amazing people, I've been able to interview people who I learned from early on, like Ty Lopez, Dean Graziosi, Dan Martell, Les Brown. Who was the other day? I just interviewed actually the founder of, I didn't learn from this guy, but the founder of UGG Boots. He built a $2.2 billion company. They'll do $2.2 billion this year. And, to be able to sort of chat and interview these types of people, I would like to say that, it's just, oh my God, it's so amazing. That kind of, I think the thing that's helped me actually be able to get there is not putting them on this pedestal and actually seeing me as not equal, but seeing them as they're human.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying like I'm equal to them. I'm saying that they're just people.
And I think, that's, it's so interesting that you say that, because for me, I always had this perception that these big, successful business owners had something different, had something that I don't have. And it was always, and like now when I meet them, interview them, like my core business is recruitment. And when you're dealing with these people on a day-to-day basis, you're like, wow, they're just normal people.
Yeah. I remember when I interviewed Les Brown. You know Les?
I don't.
Right. So he's the number one motivational speaker in the world.
As in, like, I thought you meant personally.
Oh no,
as
you
in,
know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So when he was the first big guy I came on the show, and when he said yes to me, I was pacing the house. I'm like, oh my fucking God, this is crazy. I'm gonna talk to Les. And then I got up early before I got prepared, and I'm like, I'm so nervous to talk to him. And he came on like 10 minutes late, and I was like, oh, freaking out. And I'm like, I cleared half the day. And just in case, I'm like, I'm not letting anything happen, right? Nothing up the chance. If Les wants to wait an hour, I'm waiting an hour. And we get in, and it was super funny because he sort of jumps in. He's like, oh, Morgan, nice to see you. And he's getting his hair ready, and he's just sort of chilling. He's like, oh, where are you from? And Australia, that's nice. And he's just like, chill. And I'm just like, oh, he's not this Les Brown on, Les, I think his biggest crowd's like 85,000 people he's talked to, right?
Wow.
So I grew up watching his talks and his speeches and stuff, and I'm like, wow. And then just to sort of have this chat with him was very interesting. And then the funniest thing what happened next was he couldn't figure out the tech, and then he just starts yelling out to his son. And his son's name's John Leslie. He's like, John Leslie, boy, get here. I'm like, this is fucking funny. So I just watched this sort of, altercation happen with just father and son. What are you doing? Don't do that. No, Dad, you got to do this. And I'm like, he's just a fucking dad that's just got a cool skill. And it's just funny watching this thing unfold. And now I'm just sitting there like, should I come back? Or they're like, no, it's okay, Morgan. Okay, let's start. Then he starts and he's just on, right? And then 20 minutes into the interview, his little virtual backdrop thing just cut out and went all green. And we're like, and he goes, and he ended up, he couldn't figure it out. He's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, let's redo this. And I'm like, okay, all good. I think it, and so after that day, I was actually like, fuck, this guy's he's just a dude.
Yeah, just a dude.
He's a guy in his 70s who's crushing his life, and he's super passionate about what he does. He's got a son, and he also doesn't like technology, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Do you feel that people view you like that? Like, there's going to be people out there that view you as this.
Like, I don't want them to.
No, that's good because yeah.
But I think I think I'd be stupid to say they probably wouldn't. I think for sure, like when I used to be at conference and stuff, and so we met at the sales conference, and there was definitely people that came up to me after the event, that let's take photos and let's do this, and that's cool. Like, it's sweet. It's good. I like to hear the things that I've talked about. I was able to move them some way. I like to be able to hear the transformation. My favorite is actually, I always just like to bump into people after events. Like, let's say if they come to me months after an event and like, here's what I've done since that.
Yeah.
Or because of this, I made that decision. I've changed my life and I've done something. That's super exciting for me. But I think, you play into the thing called authority bias. There's about 100 to 120 different cognitive biases that run our life every single day, whether we're aware of it or not. And the biggest brands in TV, advertising, Coca-Cola, Nike, all these biggest brands in the world, they understand cognitive biases. The CIA understand cognitive biases. Okay, so one of my good friends and one of my mentors actually, Andrew Bustamante, he's an ex-CIA spy. He was a spy for like a decade. And one of my other mentors, I can't dive into too much of what he does, but he still actively trains people in special.
So he's still in it.
He's very involved with I wouldn't say very involved. Let's just say special agencies. There's actually like multiple. There's more than just CIA. But these secret agencies that do lots of crazy secret shit, he's very involved and he trains these people, right? So some of the biggest things I've learned from them is actually the use of cognitive biases. Like how to use a cognitive bias to actually bypass someone's cognitive conscious loop in their head and put information in or take information out. And one of them is the authority bias. So this is why it works. So if you think back to when we were cavemen, the person who comes and stands up on the rock and shares the story about how he killed the bull, we listen to. The whole respect your elders thing, is there an authority bias that's been passed down? Mm-hmm. Respect your elders. Why? Because they've gone before you. They're older than you. They have authority. Obey authority. So we've been programmed to literally pay attention to anyone with an authority. So much so that they've done tests where they got 2 fake police officers to walk down the street and they want to see if they can get someone to actually commit a crime. So what they did was they were standing there and someone walks up to them and said, "Stop right there." So the person stops. They said, "Can you take this piece of paper? I just want you to throw that on the ground." They go, "Okay." Didn't question, just put it on the ground. Now, it's not a big crime, but littering, you can get a fine, right? It's not something you do. It's definitely frowned upon, and you can get a fine. So I always want you to litter. Person litters right in front of the police officer. Okay, continue, and just let them walk. Now, and they did this over and over and over. They did another test. So another test they did, one police officer with a massive taser gun, like a cattle prod, was holding this guy held captive. A stranger walks past and says, "Excuse me, mate, can I just borrow you for a second? Can you please keep an eye on this guy? I've just got to run to the shop really quickly to go get my partner. Keep an eye on this guy. He's a criminal, and if he runs away, I want this will kill him. Maybe I didn't say kill him, but this will stop him, right? This will knock him out. You, without hesitation, you use this on him, okay?" And he goes, "Yep, okay." He runs away, and the guy's been told to try and escape. So the stranger's sitting there with a cattle prod. As soon as the guy runs away, he zaps him. It's a fake zap. The guy falls to the ground, doesn't move. The guy's just standing there like, "Yep, did my job." And there's been countless studies of this done. The Milgram experiment is one of the most famous ones where I talk to people. I go, how many of you in the room here think I could convince you to kill somebody within an hour? And they're like, and some people are like, "Oh yeah, you could me." Well, let's pretend it's not. They haven't harmed you. They haven't done anything wrong. They're not a threat. You got no anger towards them, just a complete stranger. Could I turn to the person next to you? Could I convince you just to kill them in an hour? Everyone's hands like, "No, of course not." Well, they've done studies, the Milgram experiment, you can look this up, that the average person, guess how many out of 100 people have actually committed what they thought was murder in under an hour? Guess how many?
I don't know, like 20?
Every single one of them.
Okay.
Every single one of them. So let me explain this test. So what they did was this, and I'm getting to a point with this. I like to just break down why we do the things we do, in case you haven't realized that one. So the thing called the Milgram experiment. So what they did, Stanley Milgram, he got this idea because his parents went through the Holocaust, and he watched the whole, I forget what they called it, when they did the trial with the Nazis, and the Nazis were like, "Well, I was just following orders." So he became a psychologist, and he wanted to figure out what could cause someone to actually want to kill somebody, and could we reenact it? Could we make that happen? So you got 2 strangers off the street. Stranger 1 walks in, stranger 2 walks in. Okay, stranger 2, you're going to go into that room, and we're going to hook you up to an electrical machine. Stranger 1, you're going to sit in this machine, and what we're going to do, we're going to see if we can learn faster and better through negative reinforcement. So we're hooking him up to an electrical machine. You're going to ask him questions through this box. He can't see him, but he can hear him for a radio. You're going to ask him questions through this box, and for every question he gets wrong, you must deliver this certain voltage there, giving him a zap, and then you have to increase the power. Now, every single question he gets wrong, you have to keep increasing the power until he either stops or he gets the answers correct, right? Then this is the line here, 250 volts, that's enough to kill anybody, and the machine only goes to 400 volts. Any questions? They go, "No? Cool, can start." He asks the first question. "What's the answer to this?" On the other side, the guy's not hooked up to anything. It's a recording. So he purposely gives the wrong answer. The answer's B. And he goes, "That answer's incorrect. I'm going to administer 10 volts. And the guy on the other end goes, "Ow." He goes, "Okay, next one, 20 volts. Wrong question. Ow." It gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It gets up to over 100 volts. Now the person's screaming. Like, "Let me out of here. Let me out of here. Stop, stop, stop." And what do you think most people do? Most people would be like, "Oh, what the hell?" So some people turn and look to the guy in the coat and go, "Dude, like, he what do you want me to do? He wants me to stop. I think he's in pain." And the professor only said a few things. He said, "You must continue the experiment. You must continue the experiment." And they're like, oh, okay. So he turns around, keeps going, bzz, 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 gets up over. He goes, oh, I've got to stop. Look, we're going to kill him. We're going to kill him. And one person even turns around and goes, well, who's going to be responsible if we kill this guy? And the professor goes, I'm responsible. I'm running the study. So continue. He goes, okay. Keeps going, over 250 volts. There's no recording anymore. There's no voice. And the guy goes, well, he's not even saying anything anymore. Well, if there's no response, it's a wrong answer. Continue.
Wow.
So 100% of people went past 250 volts enough to kill somebody. About 60 to 80, I forget the exact amount, between 60 and 80% of people went all the way to 400 volts to finish the entire test. And then what's crazy is at the end of it, they sat people down, they go, so let's talk about what just happened. Do you know what he did? He goes, well, I think we've killed somebody. No, we didn't kill somebody. Like, who was doing the shocks? Well, I was. He goes, yeah, but you made me do it. He said, who was administering the shocks? You were doing it. He goes, but you told me. So? You did it.
Yeah.
And people are like, and you see these people going crazy in their head because consciously they know I shouldn't do this, but unconsciously there's this bigger driving force that because there's an authority figure telling me what to do, I must obey. Don't know why, but I just must obey. There's 3 parts of our brain. This is like the deepest part of our brain has been developed over 10 million years. This is called authority bias. So we are more biased to anyone who has the authority. That's why people actually believe the shit they see on the news. Anyone that's an influencer, they believe them. They believe anyone in a position of power, we have a more biased belief because they're the authority. So back to the whole question on do I think if people look at me that way? I think absolutely. Not because I'm some god, but because they're humans with a human brain and they'd perceive me as bigger or better or the authority because I'm on the stage, I'm doing the thing, I have the microphone. And with that, I guess, what's that got anything to do with anyone? Like, how can they benefit from that? Be aware of who's making your decisions. Are you making your decisions because that's the decision you want to make? Or are you doing it because you perceive that someone else with higher power, higher authority is telling you or influencing that decision on you? We just saw it unfold through COVID. The whole government, don't leave your house.
This is going to be a long episode.
But we saw it, but like, let's play 2 sides of the story here, right? So you guys in Victoria got absolutely fucked up.
Oh, God.
Right? Is it a proper prison?
Yeah, it was wild.
But then people are trying to escape. But no, you can't stay. Well, why? Oh, because the police told me. They're the authority. But then the police officers, I guarantee you, we pull up. Why hasn't this not been done? We get all the police officers that were committing fucking crimes, stopping people from leaving, bashing people in the streets. Let's get all them up and put them on trial like what they did with the Nazis in the prison camps. Go, why did you do what you did? I guarantee they say the same thing. I was following orders.
It was a scary time. Like, people were turning against family members. There were news reports being like, how do you handle Christmas with the unvaccinated? That was a news report. It was crazy. And it always, and with your reference, what you're saying, how can the Holocaust how can that happen? How can that unfold? I always wondered that. And when I lived through COVID in Melbourne, I was like, I get it.
They say history repeats.
Yeah, people yelling out the windows when you're going for a walk, put a mask on. My wife was pregnant at the time. She couldn't wear a mask. Like, she couldn't barely breathe. People yelling abuse out the window when you're walking. It's like, it was crazy.
They have no idea what was making the decisions in their life. Yeah. And they were just following, there's steps to brainwash a nation. Like, if cult leaders, all this stuff, like, so one of my mentors is probably the number 1 expert in the world at brainwashing. And he's like a government brainwashing expert. And, so a lot of things I've learned from him is like the first thing you need to do to actually brainwash a nation is to divide and create a label for the enemy, the anti-vaxxers, the conspiracy theorists. You have to create a label. You have to us versus them. Well, we're all in this together. Then there's them. Which side are you going to join? That's the first thing you need to do. Then there's punishment and reward. Right? If you do this, you get rewarded. If you don't do this, you get punished. Then there's drug manipulation. Right? Are you familiar with MK Ultra?
No.
So MK Ultra, this is something I want to love about. So if you want to get back on topic of the podcast at any time, you let me know, but I can talk about this all day. But so MK Ultra was a thing that the government spent over $250 million researching. Okay? Right? The US government. And this is back in the 70s, 60s, 70s. That's a lot of money. That's probably like nearly $1 billion now on research with one question. Can we control people's minds? And how do we do it? And what they realize is that they actually can. So they want to figure out, can we brainwash somebody to create a double agent spy? So could we, let's say you're a spy, can we brainwash you to insert this secret information in the other side of you that you consciously right now, you don't know this person exists, but when I say a certain word, we can snap that person on. He can deliver the certain message that he can delete that information, never be used again. So if you're ever caught and interrogated, you genuinely don't have the information. And they figured out we can do that.
So this was through a drug that they had created.
No, I'll try to break it down a bit. This was, the CIA did this. This is all public record as well. It's called MK Ultra. It was Operation MK Ultra.
Oh, I thought you were saying MK Ultra was like a drug of some sort as well. Okay.
They use drugs, though. But so it was Operation MK Ultra. Can we brainwash people to literally create double spies, to create separation, in their personality, so we can install information, or could we
It's like Severance, that series. Yeah.
Could we even brainwash somebody to assassinate somebody, right? And the whole conspiracy of JFK. Okay, JFK was assassinated. Now some files came out. They said two shooters. That's what's actually come out so far. I'm still waiting to see the rest of the files. That's gonna be exciting. But that's not the interesting thing. What was interesting was his brother also got killed. His brother got killed about a week later by a guy by the name of Sirhan Sirhan. Okay, and now he's still in jail. I think he's held in somewhere in California. He's still in jail, and when he goes up for parole every time, he could be out as a free man today if he only did one thing: admit that he actually did the shooting. And still to this day, he stands by saying, "I don't have any memory of that week of my life. I don't remember anything." Now, if you look back to like what happens during MK Ultra, one of the things they do is they instill amnesia. Okay, so there's a series of things. So let's say if I want to create a Manchurian candidate, that's what it's called. So if I want to turn you into a Manchurian candidate, I'm gonna do a thing. It's probably gonna take me a week, maybe a month or so. Let's get involved with a few things. First thing is get involved with hypnosis. Can actually start to reprogram your mind through hypnosis. Now, if we were to look at, and I'm not saying this is what the government used or anything like that. I'd never, but let's just say for an example, hypnotic language patterns for things like, we're all in this together. It's called a generalization quote. Okay. So if we're all in this together as a tribal being, we want to do what everyone else is doing. So it seems normal for us. That's a hypnotic language pattern. We're all in this together. Just an example. Then the next one would be punishment and pain. Okay. The next two. So if I want you to assassinate somebody, when I'm going to train you obviously how to be an amazing shooter, when you commit the thing I want you to do, I'm going to have a massive reward for you. If you miss, if you don't obey, I'm going to shock you. I'm going to punish you. Eventually, between pleasure and pain, you're going to do the exact thing I want you to do. So let's say, for example, hey, if you get vaccinated, you can travel. You can spend Christmas with your family. You can do all these things. Reward. If you don't do this, you're punished, right? I'm just saying. And then the fourth thing that they would do through,
we couldn't eat out. Do you know that?
Sorry?
We couldn't eat out.
You couldn't eat out.
How wild is that?
So the other thing that has to happen is drug manipulation. So when they did MK Ultra, they actually used drugs like LSD, and they would actually completely, loosen the mind and take people in this psychosis and reprogram under LSD. Now, no one's taking LSD, but if you were to think about it, was there any sort of drug manipulation? Well, possibly. Was there natural balances in our body balanced? Well, let's look at this. What do you get when you connect with people? Serotonin, oxytocin, natural chemicals released from our body. What do you get from outside? Vitamin D. So there's natural things that we get. And this is just straight my own observation. What I've seen of I'm probably one of the top people in Australia when it comes to mind control. I'm pretty good at it. So this is just my observation of knowing what I know, seeing what unfolded. And I'm like, this is very fascinating. So people just they're not getting their normal needs met. So there was an element of drug manipulation happening. But I don't know how we got on this topic.
Well, I'm going to ask.
We're talking about authority bias.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it because I've still to this day never publicly said if I get vaxxed or not.
Yeah.
I just like to educate people so they can have understanding. So if shit ever happens again, they can make better decisions. Because that's what it's all about.
And you hope we've learned from it, right? Yeah.
So, but craziness happened on each side though. So the people who are so anti, right? So the people who are so for, massive authority bias being played out. Also the thing called the bandwagon effect. More people get it around you, you jump on, you think, you jump on the bandwagon, you think that's what you got to do. It's also a thing called the bystander effect. So there's three major cognitive biases that are playing out. The bystander effect will say that if other people around me are ignoring a bad thing, I will also ignore the bad thing. They've done studies with someone struggling on the side of the street, crying or needing help. and they've put people around them. If there's, have you ever wondered, you ever walk past the street and just walk straight past a homeless person?
I think, yeah, for sure.
I think everybody has, right? And deep down, you're probably like, oh, I should probably help the person. But there's something that's like, you don't. Because the majority of people have ignored it. So it sends an invisible signal to your brain, the bystander effect, that if, hey, no one else is doing it, then I'm going to keep on it as well. So the same thing was happening. 3 major cognitive biases playing out, but also on the opposite side as well. You got people who are so anti-vax, and that's so like the rioting and going crazy, and same thing was happening. There was someone leading that pack. There was online influencers being like, I'm the authority, here's all the education. Blah, blah, blah. Then there's the other biases that are playing out as well, the bystander effect and bandwagon effect. And whenever I've asked people around me, I'm like, why did you get it? Why did you not get it? Quite often it comes down to, well, because all the people around me were getting it or they weren't getting it. So, all our decisions come down to mostly our environment, which is like I talk about the 5 laws of creating a dream life. One of them is environment, because that's how powerful it is. Like being in the right or wrong environment can completely alter your life. So
for sure.
I'll hand it to you. I'll talk a lot.
Yeah. And yeah, I've got the whole COVID thing. Like it was a fucking wild ride, that's for sure. And yeah, I've got some theories as well, but we'll end up recording for 6 hours. But what I wanted to ask is, it's sort of relevant as well to what you were talking about at the start, right? In terms of changing your environment. You were in a position very early on where there would have been a lot of people telling you, obviously you went through a really difficult time, and you were working in a completely different field, and then you jumped across into effectively what was sales, and a lot of people were saying, don't do that. You shouldn't go into that sort of space because it was network marketing. Like, walk me through, in terms of changing your environment and your mindset at that time, because it's hard at a young age not to listen to whether it's parents or whoever that's telling you not to do stuff. Like, walk me through that. How did you overcome that and actually take that first step that's taken you on this journey?
So I remember the first time I was actually 19, I got approached by a network marketing company. I had no idea what it was actually. It was like an energy drink. And I just saw that, this guy I knew just made $600 this week selling energy drinks. And I was like, that sounds sick. I drink energy drinks. Like, I need money. I'm a broke apprentice carpenter. This sounds awesome. Like, how do we do this? And I remember my mum's partner at the time, he looks at me and goes, oh my God, that's just a pyramid scheme. Like, don't worry about that. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. This sounds bad. And then so I said no. I'm like, I don't want to do it. And I made a judgment. And then 3 years later, another one of my friends, I started seeing him crush it online, making money online. And I reached out to him. I'm like, what's this are you doing? He's like, come and check it all out. And I went and listened to it all. And I go, oh, I know what this thing is. That's one of those pyramid scheme things. He goes, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. I said, no, bro, like, I'm in for it. Like, I don't give a fuck what it is. It sounds good. Like, I'm so broke. I want to do business or some sort. I have no idea what to do, right? And I jumped in. And so naturally what started to happen was, there's the crab mentality, which I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, Pace Morby in America. And he's a massive in the property space. It's like over $500 million in property. And I was telling him about the crab mentality. Have you heard of that?
No.
Okay, so the whole crab mentality goes like this. Like, if you put one crab in a bucket, it'll actually crawl its way out. But if you put 20 crabs into a bucket, when one tries to climb out, the others grab it and try to pull it back down. And the idea is that they're trying.
I cannot wait to put this on YouTube and watch a video of this.
So they're trying to save it.
Yeah.
Okay, because think about where the perspective is of the other crabs. They're in the box. Out there's dangerous. In here's safe. We're all in here. What are you trying to do? You're an idiot. Come back down. Come back down. And my friend Pace, he actually goes, we actually tried that. I said, because I've never done it myself. I've read his studies and stuff. He goes, we actually did that, and I can confirm it's true. He's like, they try to pull each other down. Here in Australia, is that not true?
Yeah. You
try to do something well, and everyone else around you.
Have you because you've obviously traveled a lot, spent a lot of time in the States, you've noticed it?
Massive, yeah. Americans are awesome.
Yeah.
Americans are awesome for it. Like, they're so. The first time I went and did an event in America, actually, I nearly got in a fight with one of the people because I thought he was taking the piss out of me because he was too supportive of me. He's like, yeah, good job, man. Like, you're so good at that. You're so good. I said, I'm a fucking knock you out. Keep being a smart ass. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, no, like, I'm like, shit, they're genuine. Because you get to an Aussie here, like, yeah, like it felt patronizing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, these guys genuinely want you to do really good. Like, they all believe in themselves so much. And I'm not, I'm sure there's definitely pockets, but compared to Aussies, they genuinely have this mentality that the great American dream, and they can crush and they can be the biggest and the best. And I think it's good. But here it's massive, man. Like, there's this period that goes like this. When you first get started here in Australia, everyone's going to try and talk you out of it. Everyone's going to try and tear you down. Everyone's going to try and tell you it's not going to work, you shouldn't do it, it's scary, da-da-da-da. Then you break away from them a little bit. Then the phase 2 is they start to think that you think they're better than them. And they're like, then they start to talk about you. So in the beginning, they start talking to you. You're an idiot. What do you think you're doing? You shouldn't do this. Next thing, they're a little bit far away. They start to talk about you. Look at this person. Oh, he thinks he's better than us. Da, da, da. Then you distance for a couple of years. And then one day you come out and you actually are just incredibly better. And then what they start to do is they start to talk about you, but how they always knew you were going to do it. Because the funny thing with Australians is they don't like you starting, but they love the Aussie battler come up hero story. Like, if you're the Aussie battler in Australia, like, you are the hero. Like, yeah, let's go Australia. Like, we really back our sports teams and stuff, right? We're like, we're so proud of the people that are doing it. But that period in between, anyone coming up, they're like throwing daggers at you. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah. So that definitely happened to me. And, in the beginning, when I first started, wanted to sort of start, in the network marketing space, which I'm not in anymore, but I did for 7 years. And when I started in there, everyone around me was like, what is this? Or you're scared, you're not going to tell me about it. Like, I don't want to hear about your business and all this shit. And the thing that really got me through was just the right environment, and what I realized is if you're doing it by yourself, it's challenging. If you do it with other people, and then you get to choose which environment you want to be in. And my whole environment at the time were quite negative and quite toxic. We were just partying all the time, taking drugs all the time, fighting people all the time. Like, me and my friends were getting arrested all the time. Like, it's just a crazy environment. So when I changed, my weekends went from partying and trying to pick up girls to learning and studying and trying to make money and then build our business. Yeah. So in the beginning, it was kind of like throwing the shade against me. But eventually when I made the decision I like to refer to it like everyone's walking in a black and white land. Everyone's in black and white and they have no idea about what's next. One day, the curious person climbs the fence. And he peeks over and he sees, holy shit, there's color here. And he tries to explain to everyone else in black and white land.
I'm just picturing a crab now climbing out the box.
Same thing, right? He tries to explain, guys, there's over this side, there's I don't even, because they don't have a word for blue, green, pink, yellow. It's this, I don't even know how to explain it, but fuck, like, if you just saw what I saw, this is crazy, you got to come here. Now they're all like, you're an idiot, man. Like, you're not the first person who's climbed that fence and try to, everyone who climbs the fence will turn to a fucking idiot. You'll be back one day. Because most people do climb the fence and get back down. Mm-hmm. The people who climb the fence and never come back, they're the ones that get talked about in town. It's like, one day we saw someone climb that and they went back. I wonder what it's like over there. Because what happens is, eventually once you're over there and you're climbing the fence and you see the world of black and white and you see the world of color, what really starts to change is when you make the decision to just leap over the fence, regardless of who's going to come with you. And this is a self-trust journey. So when I really leaped over the fence and I stopped trying to convince other people to see what I saw, and I realized that the vision was given to me because it was my vision, not theirs, and I stopped trying to put my vision into someone else's, I just went and pursued my life, then you know what it did? It inspired other people to start to climb their own fence. Mm-hmm. And what I've seen now is there's a whole bunch of my old friends that we used to hang out and party with that are crushing their life now, starting their businesses, growing businesses, traveling, but it took them a while. And what they've been, some of my good friends came back to me last year and like, dude, like, we've seen your whole journey, like all the stuff you're doing is just crazy. And, you've really like fired us up to really actually go do something now. And two of my very good friends, they've just moved to Dubai to start their own business now. They're living in Dubai. And so what really happened to me was, if I just actually went after what I truly wanted, I could be that person that inspired others to go after theirs when it was the right time for them. Because I was trying to convince them it wasn't the right time for them. So in the beginning, it was really about getting to that next environment. Because when I leaped the fence, I had a whole group of people who are living in the world of color, all the crazies, the 1%ers who are like, yeah, the wacky people who are like, we can change the world. And I'm like, whoa, right? And so I just got from one environment to the next. But the difference is there's going to be banter in each environment. In my old environment, it used to be like, do another shot, you pussy. in this new environment, it's like, why don't you hurry up and make $1 million in a month already, you pussy?
Yeah.
A completely different conversation.
Right rooms.
And that's not a made up story. I was on a yacht with, I was 24, 25, something like this. And a friend of mine reached out to me. He's like, hey, we're all going on a yacht party this Wednesday. Do you want to come? I said, that sounds amazing. Yacht party on a Wednesday? Like, fuck yeah, what for? And he goes, oh, we're celebrating one of my friend's 21st birthday, and he's also celebrating making his first $1 million in a year. I go, holy shit, that sounds great. Like, yeah, I'm keen to come. I go along to the party, and everyone's there. A lot of people making a lot of money, and I forget how much I was making. Like, not a lot back then. And I remember this conversation. I'm standing there just like getting around people who are, really crushing it. And one of my friends now, very good friends now, he looks at this other dude I was with. He goes, how much did you make last month? He goes, oh, I made like 40 grand. And he looks at him and goes, when are you going to grow up and start making $100,000 months, you pussy? I was like I'm eating popcorn. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, what the hell? What kind of thing to say to someone? And then the craziest thing happened next. This other guy comes over, chimes in and goes, when are you both going to grow the fuck up and start doing $250,000 months? Let's go, boys. I was like, holy shit. You see, there's banter in each circle. First group's do another shot, you pussy.
Yeah.
Another one's like, fucking make more money, you little bitch. Grow your business, make more money. Shit, man. Like, you can't avoid the banter.
Yeah.
But choose the banter.
Yeah, choose the banter.
So I make sure that I'm in circles of people who are like, like I always say, I like to make sure that I'm the dumbest and the poorest in every room. And obviously, the more you grow, the harder that becomes. And the other day, when I was with Dean Graziosi, and I was in his office. So he invites me around. He's like, come over and just have a meeting with me, like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, right? So then at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're hanging out for a few hours, just chatting about life and business. And he asked me, he's like, so where's your business? I'm like, what did you make last year? And I'm like, I ain't telling you, but I told him, but I was like, holy crap. I'm like, I am ridiculously embarrassed to say this to you. Like, we just got finished talking about how one of his companies did 250 million in the last 7 years cumulatively. I'm like, holy fuck, dude, that's like killing. He goes, what did you make last year? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, but that's when you know, right? That's when you know.
Yeah. And it's what I love about it as well is like how they've almost just, it's just a number. You know what I mean? Like the way that they talk about it, and the reality is like we're talking about. Yeah, exactly right. One thing that I found interesting, obviously you did network marketing, you finished that journey, and then it felt like you just launched one of the most successful podcasts in Australia. Like first 90 days, it was top 100. Like, what am I missing? That gap. How the fuck do you do that?
What did I do? So, I did network marketing for 7 years, and I was financially free by 23. Moved to Mexico. Lived in Mexico. Lived in Bali. Traveled the world for like 4 years as a digital nomad.
So did you still have the residual recurring income coming through?
But I was still actively growing that business too.
Yeah.
So I was getting paid, and I was just growing it even bigger and bigger. So I grew that into like a multiple 6-figure a year company. We're doing well over 7 figures a year in sales for my organization. And then I got flown around the world to speak and inspire and teach and educate the rest of the field on how to master their mindset and unlock their potential and be more successful. And then when COVID happened, all the events stopped. I had an Australian tour, New Zealand tour, and North American tour lined up and in Mexico. Huge tour. It was going to be like 2.5 months, just like events. I was so fired up for it. And then one by one, every single event started getting stopped. And then all within about 3 days, I'm sitting in my bedroom here in Surfers Paradise, and I was like, we had no events on anymore. I'm like, well, that just changed my entire year. Like, what the hell? And I just started thinking, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And what I realized was what was really inspiring me to keep growing that business was I got to teach, I got to educate, and I got to help people, unlock their potential. And I got instantly miserable growing that business. I was like, this sucks. I'm over it. So I realized what was really firing me up was the whole speaking and teaching piece. So I just go, well, fuck it. If you guys are not going to run events, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start teaching. So I'm going to run an event. Next minute, lockdown. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. So how about I broadcast? I'm going to start this podcast. So I started the podcast, got it going, and I decided, because I just thought to myself, I'm like, I got so much content. Why don't I just start teaching it to other people and start putting it out in the world, and let's just see how far we can get this thing. And then, we launched it. And I don't just start things. I'll launch things. Like I'll put a plan together. So that's what we did. I put a plan together, and I knew we were gonna crush
like
it.
waiting list, pre-launch type of like, how did you
I
go about?
Exactly how we did it. To be honest, I would have done it a lot different now.
Well, how would you do it now? Out of curiosity.
How would I do it now? There has to be a pre-launch.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-launch is the most important. So like actually building curiosity, building hype, building engagement, getting people fired up, getting people into a community. But not telling them what's being launched, not telling them where they can get it. Just the curiosity of something freaking crazy is happening. This is what's happening. And I'm going to put some excitement, some buzz, some reward. Hey, the launch day for this exciting, crazy thing is going to be on this date. Make sure you pay attention. Make sure you're here on this date, because for the next 5 days of launch day, I'm going to be giving away prizes. Right? And all you need to do is actually just show up, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you can win. And I'll tease all these prizes. So you can win this. Now people are just like, what the hell is he doing? They've already followed me. I got this engaged. And then everything's lined up ready. And then I do a live video. This is what I did do. I did a live video and we launched. I said, so what we're launching is the Dream Out Loud podcast. And I said, so here's how you can enter. Here's how you can win prizes. Tomorrow, I'm going to be drawing out one of you to win the, Apple AirPods or whatever it's going to be, $400 gift. I'm drawing out live in this page. And all you need to do to enter is to go and subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, and share it to your social media and tag me. That's it. And I'll be drawing one of you tomorrow. And then because I just have everyone so freaking buzzed, we just hit it hard. And then day one, bang. Day two, did the same thing. So you can
was that organic? Like was it just purely through socials?
Yep.
Crazy.
And so then we what did we do? Every single day I did that for 5 days. Something like that. I think the first time I did it, I didn't have prizes or nothing. I just did like some bang. Here we go. So we went top 100. And then I realized that I could have done it better. So I think...
Isn't that funny?
About a year later, I paused and relaunched, and we went to number 6 in Australia.
Crazy.
And then we're actually relaunching in a few weeks.
Noticed, yeah.
Yeah, I took a pause because, we're doing a lot of shows. We're doing like 350 or something.
You're going to have your own pad soon.
Sorry?
You're going to have your own studio soon as well.
Yes, yep. Yeah. We're actually doing the live launch there. You should come up for that. It'd be worth it. So I haven't told anybody this. I'll tell you. When is this getting dropped?
Depends. We can move episodes around if need be.
Okay,
but yeah.
So well, if anyone's on the Gold Coast, well, I don't even know how, because we haven't launched it yet. I don't even know how they can get tickets or anything yet. I haven't figured that one out yet. But Andrew Bustamante, the ex-CIA spy, me and him are running an event together here on the Gold Coast. We're doing a whole day on mindset, persuasion. It's going to be amazing. The FBI agent coming is going to be gangster. And what we're doing, we're going to invite a small select group of people to actually come to my studio, and I'm going to interview Andrew live with a live audience. And we're relaunching that day. Yeah. So we want to fill the space up, and we're going to launch it like that. That's going to be, sort of the strategy to that. So I would love to get to number 1 in Australia.
Wow.
So that's going to be the goal for that one. But that's, I think if we were to sort of reverse engineer it, what I really did, that I guess other people don't, I just jumped in. I just acted. I did my best what I could. Then when I did it, I looked back and I was like, oh, I could have done this and this better. So I did it again, and we went to number 6, right? And now I'm doing it again. I'm like, hey, how can we make it better? Let's make it better again. How can I really freaking launch this thing?
Yeah, it's crazy because you talk about, I think for me, the thing that I've always taken out of what I've heard you talk about is messy action.
Massive messy action, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, the fact that now, when I have a thought, I just act on it and do it as well.
The most successful people only do this one thing. They hyper-focus on shortening the time frame between idea and execution.
Yep. Sprints.
That's it. Mm-hmm. So as I have an idea, bang. How can I act on that immediately? Mm-hmm. Start the process. Do I need to call someone, write something down, initiate something, fire someone, whatever it is? You got the idea, bang, do it. Where, unsuccessful idea, think, procrastinate, doubt, overwhelm, self-doubt. Never act. Mm-hmm. There's a saying that the more you do, the less you think, the less you think, the less you doubt. The less you doubt, the more you do. But the more you do, aka the faster you act, the more action you take. The more action you take, the less you think. The less you think, the less you doubt. The less you doubt, the more you do. But the less you do, right? Yeah. I can't remember which one I said first. The more you do, the less you think, the less you think, the less you doubt, the less you doubt, the more you do.
Yep.
But the less you do, the more you think. The more you think, the more you doubt, the more you doubt, the less you do. So action in itself is a cure for overthinking. I had a coaching call with somebody literally right before I came here because she was like worried, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I'm just doubting myself so much. I'm like, what did you do today? Well, nothing. I've just been waiting for this call. It's fucking midday, girl.
Yeah.
You done nothing?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So we did. I didn't even do any sort of magic shit on her. I said, let's get a plan. Here's what I want you to do before the end of tonight. She said, I can't do that. I said, I know you can. Just do these 3 things. Bang, bang, bang. I guarantee you, you do this, you're not going to have time to think. When I skydive for a passion, right? I'm jumping tomorrow, actually.
Did it become a passion, or you're like, I'm
for a
just
hobby? Like I do it as a sport.
Yeah. I thought it might have been one of those
like
things where it's like, I'm going to find all the shit that scares me and just tackle it.
No, I think I just did. I didn't do it for I didn't know it was going to scare me as much as I did until I got my license. I was like, that'd be fun to have. I thought about the end goal. I was like, that'd be fun. But I didn't think about the process I had to go through to get it. And I was like, this is petrifying. But you know what happens? When I jump out of the airplane, you're falling at 1,000 feet every 5 seconds, roughly. Now, we exit at about 14,000, 15,000 feet. I put my parachute at about 4,000, 5,000 feet. So we have 10,000 feet, about 50 seconds, roughly, of free fall. Right? What do you think I'm thinking about when I'm falling to my death? I have 50 seconds up there.
Fuck. I reckon it'd just be about life. Are you fulfilled? Like, what have I...
Do you think I'm worrying about that thing I need to do at work? Do you think I'm thinking about what went wrong yesterday? The conversation I need to have? Overthinking the project? The only thing I'm thinking about is what altitude am I at? And when am I pulling the fucking parachute?
Is there not? Have you ever had that moment though? Like, if I die, like, I haven't done this, and this though. Surely.
No.
Really?
Not while skydiving.
Yeah.
So I trust myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never had a fear of dying skydiving. I've had some close calls where like parachute not coming out properly and things like that.
Nah. I think for me, it's the plane that scares me more than anything. Like, you see some of these dodgy fucking things, and I'm like,
but
I'm worried about
it's
that.
Self-trust thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I think people don't have the fear of dying. I think they just have the fear of not fully executing on their potential. I'm not afraid to die. I'm very okay with death. Because I really live each day like I do what I love. I'd be bummed, sure. It'd be like dying in a video game, like, oh, I wasn't ready yet. But like, I'm not attached. Not attached to it. And that level of detachment allows me to live fully. I think if you have this underlying unconscious fear, because it's unconscious. People don't consciously go like, oh, I hope I don't die today. They just unconsciously play life quite safe in case they die. Not that I'm voluntarily trying to kill myself or put myself in situations. I'm not stupid. But if I just die tomorrow, that's it. I'm good. I'm happy. Like, I've done great shit.
Yeah.
But that's how I determine if what I'm doing in life is on point or not.
Yeah.
So if I knew tomorrow I was going to die, would I have done anything different today? No. I would have sat here to do this podcast with you. I do the podcast I'm doing next. I'll do these things. I'll go home and see my partner tonight. I do all these things. I just make sure that every single day there's no leftover, oh, I wish I did that. Because if there's ever a moment where I'm like, oh, I wish I did that, I fucking do it. I do it. Even like my book's not fully written yet. Like, if I could really time my death, ideally I'd like to have my book fully authored and finished. So at least I can have that. But if I die, there is the brain dump, half it already put together. My assistant can pull that, and that can be the manuscript. And that's like, it's not going to make a lot of sense, but someone probably better put that into a well-written thing. And it's started. There's the podcast there. There's a video I've created that we played at my funeral. I've thought about it.
You've got a video that you've already made for your...
Yeah.
How many people have seen it?
No one.
Really?
That's the goal. The goal is no one should see this.
Yeah.
Right? The goal is no one should see this in this lifetime.
I've never heard of anyone doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know any? Did you get that from someone?
I get everyone who comes to my leadership event. That's what we do. Because I think part of being a leader is living a life that's fearless, living a life that's courageous. And if you're courageous enough to actually live life fully and not have this underlying worry, it does two things. Getting rid of the underlying worry that I might die. But you know what the second thought, like if you knew, you said you've got kids, right? You have two?
Yeah.
Right? And a wife?
Yeah.
If you, let's just say, for example, if you knew you died today, but you could somehow know exactly what you're going to be thinking and feeling a day later, I would guarantee you'd be bummed. You'd feel like, fuck, there was things I needed to say. I should have set this up better. I should have done this. For my family, that because you probably anticipated I probably won't die until I'm like 100, those things are not done. So I try to make sure that I've closed my own loops. So anybody after me who has to clean up my mess, I've done my best job to make sure they're like, fuck, he even thought of that.
Yeah.
So I just have a final message, and you know, we're in the process. We had a will set up. We've got to change it. So I'm in the process of actually, but like it's actually like, so if I died, there's exactly here's my message for my family, my loved ones, and the world, and here's where I want my money. Here's where I want done with this, and this is it. Yeah. Enjoy, right? Versus, fuck, he died. Oh my, like, because we've all seen someone, like, I don't know if you've had someone close to you die that died way too early, and you're like, oh my God, and you try to remember that last conversation, and just imagine the last gift you get to give somebody if you did die, because 1 in 3 people die before 65, right? 33% of people don't make it to 65 years old. That's a high fucking chance. Not like, of course I want everyone to live, but like, this is just also the stats. Just imagine if someone you knew well died before 65 and they secretly had some awesome message that they recorded for you to be played at their funeral to deliver that last final. That would be a fuck. I've had some close friends die. I'm like, fuck, I wish there was something like that. That'd be so cool.
Fuck, you know what I'm doing tonight?
Yeah, go do it. It'd be tough. It's tough. Like, people come out crying.
But it would make you realize what shit you want to get done.
It closes a loop in you like you wouldn't imagine.
Yeah.
So that's why we do it at Advanced Leadership. So we have an elite mastermind that I coach and mentor business owners to really scale their life and business. And one of the things I really focus on is turn them into the person they need to become. So this is why we have a 4-day leadership immersion. Comes up at the end of this year, actually, where I take them for 4 days and we take them through some gnarly shit to condition their bodies and nervous system to actually expand to the levels that they need to be as a proper leader in this planet. Then also teach them the real things and mastery of influence, human communication, all these sorts of things. But, you know, a lot of people want the script. A lot of people want the, give me the checklist. What exactly do I need to say to someone to influence them to buy my stuff? They want that script, but they don't work on the thing, the 80% that controls how the script comes out, which is the psychology of the body. You know, it's the confidence. The confidence is actually the most important thing, because a lot of you could know the thing. Like, if I tell you the exact script, I could teach you exactly step by step how to go out there and hypnotize somebody. Okay? Have you ever hypnotized somebody? Okay, so I could tell you the exact step by step. Do this, this is this. If you don't have the confidence to do it, you won't do it.
Should we try something live now?
So I hypnotize you? Have you ever been hypnotized before?
Never.
Okay. You want to have some fun?
Fuck, why not? Yeah.
We'll have some fun.
We can hypnotize Dean upstairs, get him to come down.
The thing is, so let me finish this before.
If we can, if it's doable, let's.
It's absolutely doable.
We went so far. We've gone off script anyway. I might as well do some hypnosis while we're up in this business.
So the thing with it though is, if you don't have the actual confidence to go through on the thing that you know how to do, then it's not going to happen. You're not going to do it. You're going to be like all shaky and stuff. So the most important thing is to actually build the body of the people to actually then follow the things that they actually know. So I like to work on those things. So, okay, you want to hypnotize you?
Still.
Okay, cool. So here's what I need you to do. Put your feet flat. Just put your feet just nice in there. And, okay, so first of all, there's only a few things anyone needs to know. There's only a few things someone needs to be able to be hypnotized. Okay, number one is you need to have a basic level of intelligence.
We have a problem.
We have a problem already. It always happens every single time, right?
No, we're good. Let's
go. The second thing is you need to have a good imagination. Do you have a good imagination?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And the third one is you just need to know how to follow instructions. Can you follow instructions? Beautiful. Yes. Cool. So here's what I want you to do. Put your hands together really tight, just like this. Actually, hands like this. Just really, really tight, really, really tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So tight, all the way down. In a moment, but not right now. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to put your fingers just out like this, okay? But not right now. Just keep squeezing. And in a moment, what's going to happen is you're going to put your fingers out like this, and there's going to be a gigantic magnet on each end of your fingers. Just go ahead and put it like that. And the gigantic magnet's just going to want to come together all the way down. There's going to be nothing you can do. They're just going to want to come together completely stuck. And they're completely stuck. They're so tight, almost like it's completely glued together. And every word that I say is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And nothing that you can do can even pull that apart. You can try so hard if you want. Oh, good. You can follow instructions. Beautiful. Now go ahead and try put it so tight, and imagine there's just super glued together. Imagine there's just stitching going through every single one of your fingers. Now all I want you to do is this. So go ahead and just put them up, all the way up in the air, Now immediately take the strength from here and put it into your head. Right now, there's a massive magnet from your forehead into your fingers, and as it's coming slower, and as soon as they touch, you're going to want to fall complete sleep all the way down. Sleep with every single word, you're getting more and more tired all the way down. Just coming all the way down with every word I say, just getting deeper and deeper and deeper all the way down. That's it. Nice and relaxed. Beautiful. And what's going to happen, I want you to look inside your body right now, and right inside your body, you're going to see a massive red lever, and on that red lever, it's going to say confidence. It's going to say confidence on the red lever, and right now, it's stuck to whatever number it is right now. But here's what I want you to do. In your mind, just go ahead and grab that and lift it all the way up to an 11 out of 10, to a 12 out of 10 confidence, all the way up in 3, 2, 1, back in the room. Feeling more confident, more energized than you've ever had. How do you feel?
We're about to find out. Yeah, okay. Different. I felt the lever. I pulled that fucking thing all the way up to 11.
Oh, you went to 11?
Yeah.
You didn't go to a 12?
Maybe a little bit past it.
Yeah. A little bit past it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's a lot of, sort of the visualization. Like, how does it actually work in terms of like in the theory behind
the science of it?
Yeah, the science, yeah.
The unconscious mind controls everything. The unconscious mind controls absolutely everything. So what I sort of did to you then was just create actually a bit of confusion consciously. You're probably like, what's actually happening? Create some compliance.
There's some magnets happening.
There's some magnets happening. But the thing is, your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake.
I do feel good though.
That's good. That's right. Right? So imagine what we could do. So, and that's called a rapid induction as well, right? So to be able to just rapidly just like push it down, we've never even met in person before, but I guarantee you, if I could probably put you back really fast again, and every single time we do it, you get deeper and deeper and deeper. And if we can do it in like 30 seconds, when I sit with somebody for like 5 minutes or half an hour, we can go and really unravel all these sorts of shit that consciously they're just not aware of. Mm-hmm. Because the conscious mind, imagine this for a second, close your eyes for me. Mm-hmm. Imagine this. Imagine there's a juicy lemon in front of you, and just cut it in half. And just cut it in half one more time, so it's like a wedge. See, like a lemon wedge. And just imagine you bring that lemon wedge up to your mouth, mm-hmm. and you just bite it really hard. Ugh. Yeah, that's right. Open your eyes. Did you feel it weird in your mouth? Did it feel like
a little? Yeah, I was
your whole house like
yep.
Right. So anyone like we've seen this on camera, the unconscious mind doesn't know what's real or what's fake. Mm. So your unconscious mind imagined biting a lemon. Okay, but you didn't actually consciously do it. This is why I don't watch horror films. Because if I watch a horror movie, my nervous system, my body actually feels like I'm being attacked.
Yeah.
If you can feel your body next time you watch like a crazy thriller or horror,
that's not
your body's like actually like scared.
Yeah.
That you're just watching. You shouldn't be scared, but your unconscious mind is because it doesn't understand. So all I'm doing is sort of distracting your conscious mind. I'm like, conscious mind over here, and I'm speaking to your unconscious. Mm-hmm. And that controls everything. So if I can get in there, we can change decades of baggage. We can change decades of trauma, limiting beliefs, confidence issues, anxiety, crazy shit. So when I work with entrepreneurs, when we talk about like,
is it limiting beliefs a lot of the time? Like, what is it when you're,
always
is that what's stopping
everyone's
people?
always limited by their own potential. That's it.
Yeah,
that's a huge thing. There's always like traumas and fears and things like mm-hmm. this. But what I've really found is we can really increase someone's confidence just in their own ability to do something. Mm-hmm. It's a game changer. So this is why people pay, like there's some of the most famous people on the planet. Who was it the other day? I can't remember. But there's some very, very, very successful people on the planet. I can't think of his name right now. Celebrity. There's an A-list celebrity. He's like one of the things that really kicked me off in my whole acting career is hypnosis. So that's just one of the fun things we do. But I like it because it's a rapid approach to transformation. So just get in there and unweed stuff.
Like, where do people start, right? Like, so let's say, obviously they start by taking action, right? Like, let's talk specifically in business now, right? What do you see as the common thing that's holding people back from finding success?
The common thing I see would fear.
Yeah. The fear of? Is it something, not the fear of, is it the failure itself, how they'll be perceived? What do you tend to see?
I usually see about 6 or so major fears will come out, but the common ones are fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being judged, fear of being abandoned, fear of being ridiculed, and what's the other one? Fear of not being accepted. There's like some major ones that will come out. And, this is the underlying root cause, because we're motivated by two things, right? We're motivated by gaining pleasure or avoiding pain. That's it. So I can say to you, hey, if you do this, this, and this, you're going to make $100 million this year. That's amazing. That's super rewarding. But why doesn't everybody do it? Because there is something that they perceive that either getting the $100 million or going through the process of getting the $100 million, so either attaining it or going through the process to get it, will be more painful than the reward that it's going to give them. So they don't act. Right? This is perceived pain. So this could be as simple as, well, shit, I don't want to have to go and prospect all those people. I don't want to have to do this sales. I don't want to have to put myself online and build a personal brand. I don't want to have to maybe invest in that product or that coach or that course, or what if, all these things weigh out, and it's more scary. So it talks them out of actually doing the thing they need to do to get the result, to get the pleasure. So it will always come down to people are sabotaging themselves because simply in layman terms, I talk for 40 hours on this topic, right? So next weekend we run the Dream Out Loud method. That's my signature 3-day program. And people come to us I do about 40 hours in 3 days with people. So I'm trying to give it to you in right? Yeah. But fundamentally, there's things that we value at a high level. So let's say, for example, I value success. It's one of my things I value. You probably do as well. Either success, wealth, money, growth, something like that you'd value. Otherwise, you wouldn't do what you do. And so the things we value are qualities in our life that are super important to us. Now, our values are things that we'll do nearly anything to get to in life. Okay, so I value success, so I gravitate towards, I value success more than I do walking on the beach. Okay, so that's why I'm here doing this instead of outside on a beautiful day on the Gold Coast. And I thought about that today. I was like, it's such a good day. I should be outside. I'm like, no, this is more important.
Yeah, I've got my family down here, and here we are.
Yeah, right? And so here's the things we seem as super important. And then there's things that we believe. The beliefs, just really strong opinions about the world. So let's say, for example, if I really value success, but I believe that becoming successful is going to make me a bad person, right? But then one of my other values, the things I don't want in my life, let's just say, for example, it's being a bad person or being sad or being outcasted. Let's say it's being outcasted. One of my away values is to be outcasted. I never want to feel outcasted. But if I become really successful, I might be a bad person, then I might be outcasted. Oh, shit, I don't want that. So the thing I believe the thing I value success, I believe will bring me the thing that I equally value, but the opposite. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So the negative thing I value, but we'll do anything to avoid pain before we gain pleasure. Pain's far more motivating than pleasure. How do we know this? Here's the thing. Okay, go build $1 million business this year. Most people are like, oh, that'd be great. $1 million would change their life. And they don't do it. I pull out a gun and I put it to their mother's head. I said, if you don't build $1 million business, I will kill her. Guess which one's motivating more? Right? the bullet.
Yeah.
Way more motivating. Yeah. So that's since the beginning of time. We're way more motivated to stay out of pain. So we'll do that. But the thing is, people have this perceived pain that it's going to be more painful to go through the process of getting what they want or having what they want than actually not having it. So they stay where they are. But they stay where they are, then they have this thing of regret because they know what they could be. They've climbed the fence of color, but they're scared to fully leap. Mm. It's a hard place to live. So I really like to help people work through this shit and align this stuff. So what would happen if we change that one belief that's attached to some of these really important values? What if we were to really get clear on the things that are driving your values, the fears, our needs, because we have human needs that we need to meet, right? Like we need to breathe. People have needs for actually to be seen as a certain way from their peers. This is actually, in entrepreneurs, this is a big driver. I need to be seen as someone who's intelligent. I need to be seen as someone who gets approval and all these sorts of things, right? So they'll act in certain ways to meet their needs before they do what is truly valuable and important to them. So it's a big conversation, but people will essentially sabotage often because they're trying to get their needs met first. Mm-hmm. Let's say, for example, someone has the need to feel significant. So I'm going to go out there and try and volunteer my time and help people on the weekends and all this stuff, but I also have a value to be successful and make money. But what's more important is that others see me as someone who's making an impact in the community. So I'm going to do that before I build my business, because if others see me making money and not helping the animals, then they're going to think I'm a bad person. I need to make sure they see me as that first. It's very unconscious. This is why they'll do things like, you've probably seen people just do things that are just strange. You're like, why would you do that? Oh, I don't know. They just act in interesting ways because their brain goes, fuck, red light. That's dangerous. This might hurt. This might be unsafe. Don't do that. Do this. So this is where sabotage will come from most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the clock and I think we're going to get in trouble if we keep going. What time's your next podcast actually on?
I think a minute ago.
The shit that we covered today. I'm looking at my list of like 36 questions.
Yeah, so I didn't really let you answer any
we didn't get to, but
today.
I had a fucking hoot.
How you feeling?
I didn't plan on getting hypnotized when I walked in here. I feel pretty good. So
I love it.
I had a blast, man. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the opportunity to obviously connect. And as I said from the get-go, I can't even remember if this was recorded when I said this or if this was before when we were chatting. But yeah, you know when I've seen you, like it was so cool just seeing you crush it up there, you know, from listening to the podcast to seeing you come up, and you know there were some fucking international headliners as well, and like seeing a local guy, you know, we're talking about rooting for the Aussie guy, right? But come up there and just absolutely crush it. Always get value out of listening to you and obviously everything that you do, man. So
I love that, man. I appreciate you.
Keep doing your thing.
And we'll, I guess if these guys want to, you can like put our stuff in the show notes or something, but like they can find me on Instagram, Morgan T. Nelson, our YouTube, Morgan Nelson. What have we got coming up? Our podcast stuff, they can see all that. We put a heap of cool stuff out. Probably one of the coolest things that they'll love is, I don't know if you saw, I've talked about this. I run a conference every year called Dreamfest.
I know about Dreamfest.
You know about it?
Yeah.
So I can't tell you the headlining speaker yet, but it's going to fucking blow your minds to pieces when I tell you. But you know, so we run a 2-day entrepreneur conference here on the Gold Coast.
You're going to do that at the convention center there?
No, this will be actually at Glow Church. I run at a church.
Cool.
Because it's such a cool feeling. It's a totally different experience. Like it's not like a church. It's like a freaking event center. It's crazy. So we run on here on the Gold Coast. So 2 days, August 29, 30. We're going to release tickets soon. So probably in like a couple months people can get tickets, but I think we're going to drop the wait list soon. So I don't know when this comes out, but people can find us on socials. They can even just join the wait list or something. But
no, can you give us a hint on any of the guests?
$100 million.
No, it's not.
That's the hint.
No, it's not.
I can't tell you.
$100 million leads, are we talking?
I just $100 million.
That's where my mind went. So, okay. We'll talk offline.
I can't tell you.
We'll talk offline.
Thanks. Beautiful. Well, thanks for having me, brother.
No worries. Thanks for listening to The Leap. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a follow, or even better, share it with someone who you think will get value out of it. Big thanks to our main sponsor, Ethos 360 Recruitment. It was actually just us sponsoring ourselves.
This podcast has been produced by The Content Engine.
We got the remedy. College of Giants. Selling the streets, we buying it.